Now more than ever, your hiring dollars, your labor expense must be about people that fully deliver results. This is what we need to hire for. It isn't about whether you could teach them how to do the job, boss, because I believe that you could. This isn't about, getting all of your training details written and then shot into video and then put into a platform. This isn't about how you can affect change in another person's life so that they get career and life skills while your business is stuck. Here's the truth. We're small business. We don't get to work like corporations, not yet. And I'm telling you, if we don't step into this understanding a lot faster, we'll never have the opportunity to be big and have the redundant resources that corporations have. So now more than ever, when economy constraints are affecting people, when we know that our business can be so much more, we must take the time to hire the right people. And I'm talking about whether you're talking about independent contractors, vendors, coaches, employees, whatever you are spending money on in your business to influence your success, it's on you, boss, to make sure it's the right hire. And trust me, I hear all day long how frustrated you are because you're like, how do I know? How do I know? And the truth is it's the people side of business, right? It is the sticky wicket that it has an unknown component. But there is so much more we can do to take control and to really make sure we have a reasonable expectation of success before we start paying people our very limited, budgeted, structured dollars. That's our best resource right now, where we're spending money and how we're getting results. So please understand you do have the opportunity for control here. However, I also need you to get your mind shifted just a tiny bit, boss, because I know in your heart of hearts, you want to believe you're going to go out and hire that perfect hire, which I believe is possible, and that they're going to stay with you for the next 20 years and go and scale with you in the company, taking on more responsibility. And you're just going to be done. You're going to hire this position and be like, whew, that's done. Now we get to just go on and worry about the rest of stuff. But this is what they're not telling you out there. Hiring, if you're lucky enough to be successful and plan to grow, will always be a part of your process and your budget. And I know you think you're like, oh, Talmar, of course I know that. But I also know the majority of you are not actually approaching it with any amount of strategy, without any intention, right? When we have limited funds, when the universe is a little lopsided and people are feeling a little unsure, that's specifically when we have to be absolutely committed to only working with the best possible people. And this is such an easy thing for you to learn and bring into your company and step into. And even if you plan to hand it off to your managers, which I love and I want for us, it still requires you understanding how to define what a successful team looks like. Because otherwise, that's where culture shifts and the loss of core value gets confused. If we just hire someone to do the hiring for us and we don't stay involved and specific and take the time to really understand what our definition of success is and how to communicate it, well, then the person who's hiring, whether internal or external, they have very limited chance at success because they can only hire what they believe you want. And if you haven't taken the time to really be thoughtful about every position and what the most successful person is bringing to be a part of your team, to be a part of your company culture, to serve your customers, and to work in a business that you will enjoy working with team members, right? We have things as a boss that we like and that's where the joy factor comes, right? When we have a team around us that likes working the way we like to work. And so you have to put this in your hiring process. But I get excited. You know me, love to talk about hiring. But here's a couple of truths that I think some people aren't aware of, and maybe even being too hard on ourselves. I know. Who would have thought of an entrepreneur blaming themselves all the time? I know it's not you, but let's just pretend. So, the first thing I want you to understand is the next time somebody comes up to you and they resign in your company and they have been there 2.5 or 3 years, you should actually give yourself a pat on the back. Now, yes, you need to understand the reason, but I will tell you a great tenure for your hires is 18 to 36 months in today's society. And that's a big topic that we can go into. Schedule a call. I'll tell you all my crazy thoughts and my well understood and experience based ideology. But the thing is, our society does not honor and reward and cherish the idea of staying with an employer for 20 years anymore. The gold watch at retirement is not something that people covet. There's so many different facets and we talk about it a lot. Yes, flexibility and work from home when that's possible and other things. Everybody's going to build your business differently. And that's the beauty of it. It can be exactly what you want with the people you want. But where we run into a problem is when we plan for the hiring process and we don't take the time to understand what is different about my customer service representative over your customer service representative, right? Our employment ads, our attraction tools have to be specific. So if we can really just internalize, I want you to hear me now, 18 to 36 months is a great tenure for your hires. So what that means is you're going to be hiring a lot in this company. And that's not a bad thing. It does hopefully kind of kickstart you into the idea that you better understand hiring a little more and you need to understand what success is. And you definitely want to build a team around managers and second in commands that are brilliant at hiring if you're not. These are all things that can be learned so we can have it go through you or through your team. And I just need you to be involved. It's really critical. I've seen too many clients come to us after their second in commands have run the businesses into the ground or have taken half of the team of 8 performers and gone somewhere else and started becoming a competitor. So hiring your second in command is critical, but we can outsource this and hiring is important. But I need you to stop trying to fit it in around the regular duties of people. So whether you or a manager, whoever's in charge of hiring, this has to be a thought out, purposeful, planned for calendar time process. Because this is where you decide whether this person is going to be with us for 6 months of long, painful training that they never can learn, and our company is not getting the results. Therefore, this hire is extremely expensive. Or we're going to be really thoughtful about our hiring process so that when we choose a candidate, we know this is what I tell my clients, Boss HQ. Our rule is within 60 days, the hire should be able to do 80 to 100% of their responsibilities. I know you're all thinking about your team right now. There's somebody on your team that's been there for 2 years that you're like, I think it might be time to finally let them go. And it breaks my heart because in those 2 years, you weren't getting the results you needed. And in those 2 years, you've spent this beautiful resource of your money, your hard earned cash and revenues that come in on people that were never going to be able to step into the role. And yes, again, we're back to that idea. You could teach anybody anything, but it takes 2 resources out of pocket. The person you hire and yourself or the trainer now are paid to by your company to make sure someone has a career path in the future because they're going to take those skills and the timing for when they're going to want to advance almost never works out. And that can be that 18 to 36 months, right? They might be ready for the next step, the next level. Now, sometimes at 36 months, there's other things going on and their priorities have changed. And so we have to let them go. Whatever the reason, hiring is going to be a part of your business. And it can be a really empowering, successful part. But it doesn't have to be so hard. It can absolutely be faster. And it for sure can be much, much easier if we come to the reality that we're always going to need to hire it. It's something that needs to be on our budget. It needs something, somebody has to have the responsibility. It's got to be in the company as a regular part of our process, right? So just remember, you can do this. And if you don't know it yet, you can learn this. This is something everyone can do. It can feel scary because you don't know what you don't know. But now you know 18 to 36 months is a great tenure. So when somebody comes and resigns, you don't have to kick yourself, boss. It's not necessarily that you did something wrong. It could just be that they are ready for their next step. And as a small business owner, we can't create those steps when every employee decides that their personal life has a need that's different than the company's. Now, I'm not saying that we can't consider A performers. I'm not saying there's not times where you might need to promote or you might be ready to scale. But the likelihood that they and all of your employees are going to coincide at the same time is not realistic. And you're either going to overly try to be pleasing and you're going to keep your company stuck and spend resources on the wrong people doing the wrong jobs, or you're going to be happy for them and wish them well and start your predictable, repeatable hiring process. It's just like paying the bills. It's just like part of your marketing effort. These are things that your business needs. And honestly, when you've got the best team, it lets you enjoy work. It lets you enjoy what you do. It feels way less slog. Right? Slog's a word, right? Today it is slog. So remember, you build your team for your worst possible days, because the best possible team is going to help without even being asked. They're going to be there and they're going to deliver for your customers in a bigger, better way than you could have ever prayed for. You can learn this. You can do this, but it does take the commitment of you to understand your business needs hiring. And you, as the boss, as a CEO, must understand what your organization needs and what a successful hire will be for you. That's what sets everything correct. That's where the culture stays aligned. That's where growth and decisions come faster and easier, and you get to scale on purpose, boss. You can do this.